Hello everyone, my name is Stas, and this is a brief summary of the plot of the 2018 film titled Your Tutor. The main character of the film, Savva, is a young boy whose parents go on a foreign vacation. They do not take their son with them because he will soon have to take entrance exams for university, and he is not prepared for them very well. Left home alone, the applicant with a bottle of alcohol begins to look for a tutor in foreign literature. The next morning, he meets Anna Germanovna and receives her first assignment to read the work of Gustave Flaubert, Madame Bovary. Savva is slightly disappointed that the lesson lasted only a few minutes, but he accepts the teacher's terms and goes home to read the book in order to later write a short review. At the beginning of the next day, Savva arrives at the tutor's with a slight delay and hands her a disc with a horror movie.
Зачем мне это смотреть?
Не знаю. Там адреналин, все такое.
After reviewing the report on Flaubert's work, the teacher makes several comments pointing out that the guy exhibits adolescent infantilism and maximalism. However, despite this, she acknowledges that Savva is a very smart and resourceful student. Anna Germanovna decides to elaborate more on the character of Emma from the work Madame Bovary. Listening attentively to his mentor, Savva stops seeing the woman merely as a tutor and begins to notice her shapes and curves. Watching how tenderly she cares for her flowers, the boy becomes completely enchanted by his teacher's femininity. As he leaves, Savva asks if Anna Germanovna is on social media, and learns that she hardly uses the internet. After returning home, the applicant ignores his friends and refuses to meet with them. Meanwhile, Anna Germanovna decides to watch the horror film that Savva gave her. The next morning, the boy rushes to his third lesson. Upon entering the apartment, he discovers that an unpleasant household situation has occurred with the tutor related to the kitchen plumbing. Savva helps to solve the problem by shutting off the water supply, and then he cleans up the aftermath of what happened. To prevent the boy from sitting naked due to his drying t-shirt, Anna Germanovna gives him one of her clothes.
Да я так могу.
Нет, так не надо. Оденься сам.
After a few minutes, the teacher and the student begin the lessons. Anna Germanovna, having checked Savva's homework, notes that he did well and presented the character of Emma from the book being studied quite creatively. At some point, the tutor stops paying attention to what the student is saying and starts admiring him. Coming to her senses, the woman suggests stopping the lessons, as the guy is unlikely to need such a high level of preparation for the entrance exams. Despite this, Savva refuses to stop his studies and insists on continuing the lessons. The woman, without much thought, agrees. A little later, her younger sister Marina comes to Kana and invites her to her nephew's birthday. The woman accepts the invitation and goes to the celebration venue where she meets the guests. Most of all, Peter Anatolievich, a respectable and wealthy middle-aged man, the owner of a furniture factory, pays attention to her. He invites Anna on a date, but she quite rudely declines him as she is not interested in a relationship. She catches herself thinking that she finds it much more interesting to look at her young nephew than at adult men. Marina tries to save the situation and takes her sister to the kitchen to talk. During the dialogue, it becomes clear that Anna does not like to pretend and is absolutely uninterested in being at this celebration. Apologizing, Anna goes home. The next day, Savva arrives a little earlier than the scheduled time and notices that the apartment door is open. Once inside, the guy accidentally spies on a woman getting dressed, which increases his attraction to her even more. Anna Germanovna feels awkward in front of Savva, so she quickly puts on her outerwear and moves on to the lesson. At the end of the meeting, the woman returns the disc with the movie, thanking the student for the new experience. In the evening, Savva buys lilies and, thinking about Anna Germanovna, does an intense arm workout. The next morning, the student gives flowers to his teacher, after which he decides not to hide his affection. Despite the huge age difference, the woman gives in to temptation. The couple feels that there is something between them, but they understand that it is not quite right.
Поцелуй меня, Savva.
On the way home, Savva calls a friend and suggests throwing a party with some classmates. Meanwhile, Anna Yermanovna registers on social media to learn more about her favorite student. The next lesson begins with Anna Yermanovna refusing to continue teaching the applicant. She states that these unusual relationships will lead to nothing good, but Savva does not listen to the woman and disheartens her by undressing in front of her. She is afraid to look at the guy, but eventually gives in to temptation. As a result, the couple makes love and moves to a new stage in their relationship. After that, Savva decides to emphasize his great mood with the sunlight he let in by opening the curtains. It seems that he is truly in love with his tutor and is not shy about being near her, despite the significant age difference. From this moment on, their lessons cease to follow the usual format. The couple spends a lot of time together, studying foreign literature, having dinner, and entertaining themselves in bed until morning. It seems that they are really good together. One of those days, Anna meets her new neighbor, Dmitri. The intellectual shows affection, but the woman doesn't give him a chance, rejecting the compliments of the unfamiliar man. Meanwhile, the schoolboys are having the most typical house party. Savva pays no attention to the girls at all. His friends, noticing this, advise him to take a look at Marina, who constantly watches Savva, not hiding her interest. Next, the game begins, in which each teenager must share their desires. A girl publicly states that she would like to spend the night with Savva, putting him in an awkward position. After that, alcohol comes into play, bringing Savva and Mariana so close that in the morning they wake up in the same bed. The boy, realizing that he made a terrible mistake, does not dare to come to the scheduled lesson. Savva visits his tutor only in the evening. He reveals everything that happened the day before and prepares for the worst. But the woman takes the news surprisingly calmly. Feeling guilty, Savva decides to punish himself. Anna Germanovna decides to show concern and offers a headache pill and then to have dinner. Despite forgiving him, she still thinks about what Savva said. As soon as the guy leaves, Anna finds photos of Mariana online and realizes that she is no competition due to her youth and beauty. The woman began to realize that she would not be able to keep the guy. The next morning, Mariana meets Savva near the entrance and invites herself to his place under the pretext of having forgotten an important item at his home. This item turns out to be her bra, which she deliberately left behind to come over again. The schoolgirl suggests going up to the attic and spending time together, but the guy categorically refuses. After that, the girl offers friendship and suggests that what happened should be considered a coincidence. Savva agrees to such terms, not suspecting that it is not the best decision. In the evening, Savva goes to the next lesson and meets Anna Germanovna in an evening dress. She has prepared a romantic dinner, but the guy suggests taking a walk in the park. The tutor feels awkward due to the age difference and public opinion. Savva tries to take her hand, but Anna Germanovna is against it, fearing gossip. At some point, she realizes that she is hurting the guy and calms him with a kiss. Upon returning home, the couple enjoys romantic activities and is no longer embarrassed by their feelings or the curious neighbor. After the date, Savva goes home but meets Mariana near the entrance with Anna Germanovna. Their meeting was truly accidental, but the woman, noticing them together, began to suspect that Savva was a deceiver and maintained close relationships with both of them. The next morning, Anna Germanovna notices Savva with other schoolmates. Savva, noticing her, decides not to approach her. The woman, seeing Mariana, began to compare herself to her again, and realized that their chances were not equal. The disappointed woman, encountering her neighbor again, invites him to her home, resulting in them having sex. Savva visits and meets the neighbor, not realizing what he was doing in the woman's apartment. When the man leaves, Anna Germanovna creates a scene, breaking dishes and yelling at Savva. When the guy decides to leave, she stops him and then calms down. After that, they go to bed together. After a while, Savva wakes up and notices a used condom. Realizing what Anna Germanovna was doing with her neighbor, he feels unwell. Not expressing his feelings, the guy goes home. Closing himself off, he tidies up the house and waits for his parents. The returning relatives give their son souvenirs, but notice that he is not in the mood at all. A little later, Savva decides to visit Anna and finds her depressed. The woman is in ruins and in a state of severe depression.
Я больше не преподаю.
Hearing these words, Savva leaves her apartment. Several months pass. During this time, the guy not only enrolled in university but also started a new relationship with a new girl. After they finish their walk, Savva notices Anna Germanovna and decides to follow her. At some point, realizing that it is difficult for him to catch up with her, he decides to call his tutor by name. Anna Germanovna turns around and notices her former student. It becomes obvious from their eyes that they have missed each other very much. Love knows no age. This is how Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin once wrote in the poem Eugene Onegin. The film, Your Tutor, precisely explores this theme in the context of modern times and proves that yes, it is indeed possible, but only for a short time. At the time of this Summaries release, the film has a rating of 6.3 on IMDB. This brings our video to an end. Thank you all very much for watching.